panel from New York. So we're glad to have them here today with us. Now, the presentation will come out in just a second. Afterwards, we're going to enjoy this show with questions and responses. Bruce Lee Foundation. They help show as well as a free book by Shannon Lee, Steinbecker, as well as C4, who is providing the directions for tonight. Who here does wishing? Who doesn't know what wishing is? It's essentially a Chinese martial art, but it's more form. It does have practical uses depending on who you talk to, but it's more of an acrobatic display. There we go.
Give it up for the UCLA Wushu team.
Hi guys, thanks for coming. Thanks for having all of us. I said that I'm one of the UCLA Wushu coaches. If you see something you like, please cheer. If you don't like, cheer anyway, alright?
No!
Give it up for the UCLA Wushu team. That was a wonderful performance. I hope everybody enjoyed that. I think as we're wrapping up things, the next up on our list is we're going to be doing a brief overview walkthrough of the entire exhibition. And so I'll walk you through each of the pieces very slowly, and we'll take a gander at all the pieces in the show. Just as a reminder, if any of you have any interest in purchasing one of these pieces, if any of these seem interesting to you, feel free to DM us your interests on Instagram and or email us at info@gallerynucleus.com, and a Nucleus staff member will assist you. that is a brief overview of Gian Galang's Form in Fury solo exhibition. And now we'll be moving on to Misato's Sano solo exhibition. Hello, hello. If you have any questions about the show or anything, please feel free to put them in the chat. We'll be interviewing both of the artists later tonight, talking about their artwork. And so if you have any questions, we'll try and get to them. The interview will be around 6:30. Misato Sano is a wood sculpture and embroidery artist. She flew in Japan just to be here today with us, and we'll be interviewing her later today.
He looks a little bit like that. He's not real.
Did you look through the window yet?
So far the attendance is I think right now from 5 o'clock till now, that's probably some 60.
Yes, I guess more attendance, some attendance in some show, but probably the difference is like the range of people who speak and it's really good.
All right, I think we're a little bit ahead of schedule today. I think we'll be heading into the Gian interview fairly soon.
So just stand here. Oh. Yeah. Sorry. What do you want me to do?
You can stand. Yeah, there we go. Hi, everybody. I just want to introduce Gian Galang. He'll be talking about his pieces here just very soon, if you don't mind, just giving us a brief introduction about yourself.
Oh. Sorry, this is live.
No worries.
Sorry, guys. This is the first time I've ever done this. My name is Gian Galang. I'm an artist and illustrator based in New York, and this is a wushu show. This project actually started a couple years ago when I was commissioned to do a mural in New York, Chinatown, and I knew off the bat it was going to be kung fu, but I didn't know exactly what. You know, I'm going to do something with the movies, something like that, but that's when I went down the rabbit hole of sport wushu, which for those of you guys that don't know, it's the national sport of China, and it's basically all the coolest kung fu moves strung together in a gymnastics floor routine. So then the angles and everything is perfection. So when I was researching, I got the work for the murals, but I felt like I had so much more material to explore. All the weapons, all the styles, all the angles. So that's where the inspiration for all this work came from. I felt like I had so much more to explore, and I feel like I just scratched the surface.
Could you tell us a bit about the piece behind you?
Yeah, so these were my first explorations into the sport of wushu. These are all sword-based. This one's sword-based, this one's sword-based. As you can see, they have a straight sword, and then this one on the right is a staff. So in wushu, they have several weapons. The main four are two types of swords, a spear and a staff, and they have other ones, but that's what makes it so interesting because they have different movements for every weapon, and they also have different styles. So for these ones, I really was inspired by the colors of the uniforms. That's one thing that I'm very rarely get to explore. Usually my work is with MMA based. Usually it's just like buff guys, with shorts on. So it was a privilege to do athletes and really exaggerate the movement and the clothes. Really exaggerated like the rippling in the pants. Try to have the sleeves flare out to really exaggerate the movements. So yeah, that's the set of.
What are these painted out of? Like, what's the medium?
Acrylic. So it's acrylic, and I got some texture inspirations for when I actually did the street mural. In some of the areas, you can see a little bit of the textures. I used some spackling to create texture in advance on the canvas, and then I just kind of run my brush over it. So I get kind of like these organic textures to kind of exaggerate the action in some areas. What I like to do is work kind of wild to start create the energy, and then focus in on certain details like the face, but then leave certain areas a little looser to emphasize the movement. So I'm always trying to play with the juxtaposition. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's great. We can move on to these.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So tell me a bit about this series of paintings.
Okay, so these guys, I was trying to explore a little bit more of the overlap, and because I went black and white, I went a little deeper on the textures. So actually, you see a little bit of this kind of rough raised edge texture. I was experimenting with different sprays. This is actually a faux marble spray. So it's used for, you get it at Home Depot to create like fake marble countertops. It creates this kind of like Spider-Man webbing. So I was playing a lot. I feel like when I go with black and white, I can experiment more with the textures because less to deal with the colors. So that's kind of what you see here. I use a different medium, acrylics, pencil, graphite, a little bit of the spray, and just try to find the balance between the things that are wild and the things that were a little bit tighter to emphasize the form.
Yeah. Do you do research on the medium before doing it, or do you kind of let the idea of find the medium?
Well, I always have I have the composition, right, and I basically just do experiments with textures because textures is kind of a surface thing. I think in my head I know what parts I want of the composition I want to have more energy. So maybe if it's a specific kind of movement that inspires speed, maybe I'll try to think of something that maybe feels a little more liquid, feels a little smoother. Or if I'm trying to emphasize impact, maybe I choose some really rough textures to really drive that point home. So it's a little bit influenced by what kind of movement.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for going into detail with that.
Yeah.
Do we want to hop over to these here?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Okay, so these guys, this year I've kind of been, I kind of got sucked into NFT projects, and I was kind of inspired by like the multiple version nature of NFTs. A lot of profile picture projects are like same composition and different elements are switched around, and I felt like it was a good excuse to experiment with different colors and different patterns, which I'm always inspired by with the sport wushu, particularly in the uniforms. If you've ever seen sport wushu, the colors are wild. They got dragons on their jackets, they got flowers coming out the back. So I thought this was a great experiment to utilize one pose and really focus on playing with different color combinations and textures.
That's awesome. I see this repeated element in all the paintings for this show. Does that play a particular role?
Yeah. I played a lot with Chinese textures. So a lot of Chinese elements, graphic elements. So, and obviously there's a rich history with that. So a lot of stuff I was able to play with. I didn't have to think too much. I used the textures to ground the composition in different ways. Have a little contrast between the movement. So it helped to have like sharp angles to emphasize the kick in another area. So more playing with the graphics to emphasize different movements.
Wonderful. That's great. You want to hop over to these?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do it. So this series, this is actually my first NFT series earlier this year with Crypto.com. When they first approached me to do an NFT series, I felt like I wanted to do something that you couldn't just buy in a gallery, which was an animation. So that's why you see the repetition. For the original NFTs I made, each NFT was made of a composite of 3 different paintings of the same pose. So, but I had the opportunity to play around with the clothing. But I try to keep the faces and the hands and the swords very tight. So when you play them back to back to back, it creates a moving animation where the clothes are creating a lot of the movement. And there's a little shift in the face. So that's the reason for the multiple images. Actually on the screen right there shows the movement of the switch. But if you catch it, you'll catch a little bit of the movement. But that's why. So I did play with a little bit of different materials for each one. There's just slight variances. Like some are a little darker because I use a little charcoal and acrylic, and for some of them they're a little bit lighter because I use just graphite for some of the face details. But I don't know if I'll do something like this again because it was kind of a pain in the ass to do the same face three times in a row and just like I just kept going back and forth between all 3 of them, and it was just like I don't know if I have the patience to do that.
To retain the same quality.
Oh yeah. It gets boring. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It reminds me a lot of like printmaking, how you can have multiple of like the same design, but it'll be slightly different each time. We're able to sort of make that with like acrylic and really focus it more on the subject rather than like the entire thing.
Yeah.
So it's very fascinating.
Thank you.
Did you think about? Did you come up with this on your own? Like, was it your idea? Or I mean, inspired by like something to like make this sort of animation?
Well, I think the main thing with when I got approached to do the NFTs was I just wanted, how can it be different than a single painting, which is what I love doing. I love laboring over a single image, and I'm totally cool with that. But I felt like, I hadn't really wrapped my head around NFTs, and I was like, well, if somebody's gonna buy something digital, I gotta make it digital. Yeah. So, you can't buy an animation. You can buy the individual frames, but so I felt like if someone's gonna buy something digitally, I want to give them something that only exists digitally. So that's kind of why I chose a dramatic pose, and then I wanted to ground each composition with a strong shadow. And then I felt like I'll let the motion do the work. I'll let the animation do the work of the dynamism.
That's
so.
Yeah,
thank you.
And then I think the last one is
the Bruce Lee. All right, let's do it. For this piece, I was so blessed to be commissioned by Criterion Collection. To do their set, like Bruce Lee Ultimate set, Blu-ray set, and this is the interior spread. The art director had a cool idea to do a sequence of imagery that follows one action, but each pose would be Bruce Lee in a different one of his iconic uniforms. So it starts off, it's black and white, but it's supposed to be the yellow jumpsuit. Or actually Fist of Fury, a yellow jumpsuit, the wife beater, and Big Boss, the Kung Fu suit, Chinese Connection, or I forget the English name of it, and shred it up a little bit, like Enter the Dragon. So I chose the sidekick, and a lot of times Bruce throws the little fake back fist right in front and goes to the sidekick, and I threw another kick on the other side to balance the composition a little bit. So this this is the spread that happens inside the DVD. It's like I don't know, like a 6 DVD set. So when you open the gatefold, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, yeah. So.
How long did it take you to sort of? It seems like a very complicated composition with like multiple pages.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like there's a lot of modes that you can choose from.
Oh yeah, I mean that was an amazing thing with Bruce that, you know, I sort of gained my popularity in the MMA space, painting MMA fighters, and what's challenging with them is a lot of, you know, they're fighters first, so sometimes it's hard to find a distinct element, a distinct style. But when I got the Bruce Lee project, Bruce Lee's a showman, so I was like, which pose do I choose? All his poses are made for the screen. So, you know, he's got the back fist, he's got the jump spinning kicks, he's got, you know, the different back. So narrowing it down was tough, but I knew that it had to be the side kick because it had to be a very horizontal composition. So, I mean, how I work through it is I just do so many thumbnail sketches, and then when I get the shape down, this is when I start rendering, after I have all my reference set. So.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, thanks so much for running through all your pieces.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
It's really inspiring to hear about the process and the inspirations behind your artwork.
Hey, thanks so much, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think that concludes this interview. If there's anything else you want to say?
No, I mean, just I'm so thankful for Nucleus to have me out here and just be able to have these paintings in person. You know, I feel like, especially like for these colored ones, I spend a lot of time working out the textures, and sometimes it just doesn't show up in the IG. And I love that people are able to see it in person. So, thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, well, we'll conclude there. Thanks again.
All right.
See you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll do one close look and capture the textures, and then we'll move on to Misato next. Thanks for everybody for joining. Yeah. If you are at all interested in purchasing one of these pieces, please feel free to DM us on Instagram and or email us at info@gallerynucleus, and one of the Nucleus staff member will help you. There's the animation that Gian was talking about. The texture is a very, very large part of it. When you're in person, you can definitely see the different effects it makes in person. In just a few moments, we'll be talking with Misato Sano. Thank you for your patience. Welcome. This is Misato Sano. Oh, one moment, please. Please welcome Misato Sano, a wood carving artist flying in from Japan. Wood carving, and she also does embroidery. If you would like to introduce yourself, Misato.
Okay.
You can stand here.
Yes, here.
Yep.
Oh, hello everyone. I'm Misato. Nice to meet you. Thank you watching Insta Live. Yay! Thank you. Okay. なんだろう。
Well, if you'd like to get started to talk a little bit about this sculpture right here.
Okay.
これから解説どうぞ。
はい。この彫刻は、今回の作品展のために作りました。一番気に入ってる作品です。
So I made this work for this show, and this is one of the pieces that I like the most.
タイトルは裸ん坊のダックスフンドと言います。
The title of the work is Naked Duck's Hunt.
この作品の意味は私のその本当の姿を表したいという意味で変な意味じゃないです。
So the work is meant to be so I'm expressing my desire to show like true myself.
なんか私が考える美しさとかその見た目だけじゃない中から現れる内側から現れる美しさを表現してます。
I'm trying to express the beauty, not only like the external physical beauty, but also the inner beauty in this work.
So usually, I'm making time. Myself looks like self portrait. 違うかなんていうの？合ってるかな？ Self portrait. This is self portrait. 合ってる？
日本語は何だったんだろう。ポートレートだってことでしょ？
そう、私自身です。
So in form of dogs, I express myself. So these sculptures are like my self-portrait.
私自身を犬の姿を借りて表現してます。
So basically, as I said, in the form of dogs, I'm expressing myself, my own form.
That's awesome. What makes this sculpture your favorite?
なんでこれが一番お気に入りなの？
OK? そういつも、私は恥ずかしがり屋だから、
Because I'm shy.
そうちょっとふざけたりとか冗談を言ったりして本当の自分のことを隠しちゃうことがあります。
I often hide myself, my true self, by sort of telling jokes or just playing fun.
そう今回私のエキシビジョンが展示会が初めてそのアメリカで開催されるので
Because this is my first exhibition abroad in the US.
そのシャイな自分ではなくて自分の心をオープンハートっていうのかな心を全部広げて皆さんにハローハローしたかったから
So rather than shy myself that I usually am, so I really wanted to sort of open up myself to people in the US as the exhibition's name, title, Hello Hello goes.
飾らない自分の純粋な自然体な私を表現してます。
So I wanted to express myself without sort of trying to cover things up like myself as I am.
OK。そうこの作品のタイトルはヌードルアフガンハウンドと言います。
So the title of this work is Noodle Afghan Hound.
これは私が考えるちょっとフォーマルでゴージャスな着飾ってる私です。
So this is also myself. So in the formal mode, it's kind of dressed up mode of myself.
そうすごくこう綺麗なライカメットガラみたいな メット柄みたいな。
メット柄
っていうの？
ドレス？
メット柄に出てくる綺麗なお姉さんたちみたいな。メット柄わかりますか？
メット柄？
メット柄。
映画のやつ。
いろんなハリウッド女優さんとかが、ああいうなんかメット柄に出てくる素敵なイメージのドレスを着てるそういう私なんかちょっとこうおしゃれしてなんかこうポーズして「Hi guys」みたいな感じです。
Of imagining myself like a red carpet, working on a red carpet, like a Hollywood star, so dressed up, so posing to the camera. That kind of mode of myself.
I see. Very dressed up.
Thank you.
I can move on to the next.
Okay. そうこの作品のタイトルは美容室に行きたいなというタイトルです。
So the title of this work is I wanna go to a beauty salon.
そう私の髪の毛は本当に量が多くていつも大変なんです。
So I really have a lot of like hair, so it's always tough to sort of style myself.
その時になんかこう美容室に行きたくて仕方のない気持ちを表現した作品です。
So it's also myself really sort of dying to go to a beauty salon.
オッケーいいかな大丈夫？
Okay. Yeah. No, it's great. We do have a question. 質問来たそうです。
Thank you.
What are some of your influences? どんなものに影響を受けてますか？
影響なんだろう影響を受けているいろんなことに影響を受けてるんだけれどもでも自分の体にすごい影響を受けてるというか例えばこういう膨らみとかは自分の体を参考にしてます。
I do get influence from many different things, but probably one thing is like my own body. So the form of my own body.
ほっぺたとか胸とかお尻とか女性の体の膨らみにすごく魅力を感じているのでそれをいつも表現したいです。
I'm always fascinated by female body. So like this work, I always try to express the beauty of like cheeks or chest or hips, those kind of body parts.
そうこの作品は後ろも面白いので見てほしいです。
I want to show you the back of this work because it's also very interesting.
そうグッドブーディそうブリディシャスです。Thank you watching.
Wonderful work.
Next embroidery? Okay. じゃあ OK.
Sorry, this one.
Yeah. So, embroidery is I making time only winter time. So, 冬はとても私が住んでいる宮城県は冬がとても寒いので
So I make embroidery works during winter because Miyagi Prefecture, where I live and work, is very cold in winter.
冬になると私は刺繍の作品をたくさん作ります。
So during winter, I make a lot of embroidery works.
彫刻はたくさん時間をかけてなんかすごく自分の内面を細かく繊細に表現しているんですけれども
While sculpture works, I spend a lot of time on each work, and I really design the work and I think about it, and I sort of delicately express my own inner self.
エンブロイドリーズはもう少し早く作れるので、日記のような感覚で作ってます。
But embroidery works, I can like produce like quicker. So I like making it quicker. It's a bit like making a diary.
この作品はルービックスキューブと言います。This embroidery is named Rubik's Cube. So, okay. My neighbors, 私の近所の友達に小学生の男の子がいます。
So I have a neighbor, a friend, who is an elementary school kid.
今はね、もうgrow up, now grow up, so junior high school student だけど、彼が私にそうこのルービックスキューブを貸してくれました。遊んでいいよって。
Although he's now grown up, junior high school kid, but he has once lent me this Rubik's cube that he sort of allowed me to play with it.
So we are so best friends. So I'm heart so warm. 嬉しくなった。I'm happy. So this things, this memory. So this Rubik's cube. So my treasure looks like treasure. かな? Yeah. This.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. This embroidery's name leaf. Leaf. 葉っぱ。そう。これはOK。友達と my friends すみえちゃんとtogether mountain hiking. Mountain 山登りした。
Hiking.
Hiking time. So bigly I found it. So sunshine and キラキラ。なんていうのかな、光でキラキラした葉っぱを見つけました。
I found a leaf that's of glittering in sunshine.
私たちはその葉っぱをこう太陽にかざして空を眺めたので、それが素敵だったから作品にしました。
So we sort of held the leaf against the sun and watched the sky together, and that experience was so nice. So I made it into our work.
That's wonderful.
Thank you. まあでもそんな感じかな。終わり？ OK。じゃあ何かクエスチョンありますかね、見てる人。じゃあ。
なぜ刺繍しようと思ったんですか？
Thank you, good question. Yay! Maybe six years ago. エンブロイドリーのアーティストのラウラ・アメバちゃんと出会いました。私は。
6年前？
6年前ぐらいかな。
About 6 years ago, I met an embroidery artist, Laura Ameba.
彼女のワークショップに参加してこのテクニックを学びました。
I participated in her workshop and learned this technique.
で、立体的にその作る方法を私は身につけて、
So I learned this a little three-dimensional technique to make embroidery.
それからめっちゃハマりました。
So after that, I really got into embroidery.
で、本当に私が住んでいる東北の冬は超寒いので、
So winter of Tohoku region where I live is really, really cold.
冬は暖かい部屋でエンブロイドリーをするのが私はすごく幸せな気持ちになります。
So during winter time, like making embroidery in a warm room, it really makes me happy.
Yeah. Very cozy.
Okay. Yeah, cozy feeling. Yeah. そんな感じかな。 ああ、いやー、なんだろう。どうだろう、これは、this、花束 this bouquet そうか bouquet this name is bouquet so bouquet inside Pekingese yeah Pekingese watching me yeah so this sweater with stripes so fancy striped sweater I want it 欲しいイエーイNext, this embroidery, tartan check. So handsome face Shiva with tartan check muffler. Muffler? Scarf. Yeah. So これすごく大変だったんだよね。すごくお願いします。これ全部一つ一つの四角の中を糸を変えて抜いたのが大変でした。
So actually, it was very hard to make this embroidery because I need this tartan checked pattern. So I had to change the needle or strings. 糸変えたのね。So it really took me a lot of time.
There's a lot of colors.
Yeah. And this name Pom Pom. Pom Pom ちゃん。Yeah. So すごく寒い日だったので暖かいセーターを考えました。
Because it was a very cold day, I thought of a warm sweater.
立体的に
So it's three-dimensional.
一番立体的
Pom-pom. Maybe it's the most three-dimensional work among these embroidery.
このポンポンの長さを変える
So the length of this pom-pom can be changed as well.
So 一番 most unique design I think Yay This name juggling boy Yeah juggling So 彼はジャグリングに今ちょっと失敗しちゃったところですそうそれ落としちゃった
He actually made a mistake in juggling. He dropped this orange ball.
でも彼はそれがバレないようにシリアスな真面目な顔をしてカバーしてます
But he's keeping his serious face, covering up his mistake.
Because professional
Because he's professional.
終わり
One more question for you.
OK
Are there elements of embroidery that allow you to express yourself in a certain way as opposed to wood
そ
carving?
の木彫と違う形で自分をこう表現できる要素っていうのはありますか
OK So 一つは色をたくさん使えること
One thing is I can use a lot of colors.
あとは早くその制作する時間が短いことも違いですね。
Also the production time that I need is much shorter with embroidery works.
なので、そう一つのことに、so for example, I focus sculptures making time, so 少しなんていうのかな、行き詰まることがあります。
So when I'm making sculpture works, sometimes like I get stuck in making it.
その時にそうカラフルな糸を使って短い時間でできるエンブロイドリーはすごくいい表現方法、私にとって。
気分転換みたいな意味？
そうそうそうそう。
So in those kind of occasions where I'm a bit stuck in making sculptures, those embroidery that I can make quicker with lots of colors, it's a really great way to sort of change. Great change.
そう。でもやはりこう二次元平面的なので表現できることに限界があると私は感じていて。
But because it's fundamentally two-dimensional, so I kind of feel there's a little limit in what I can express with embroidery.
彫刻のその360度を使って表現できる 表現方法の方が私はやはり一番自分に合ってると思います。
So I guess with the sculptures I can express with 360 degrees, or that's the way when the expressions that suits me the most.
そう私は自分が作る作品が誰かのところ誰かにとても居心地が良くて何か一緒に暮らしたくなるようなフィーリングを持ってほしい。全部どっちもだけど。
With my works, I wanna give people, make people feel they wanna live with it, like a cozy feeling. So that's what I want to, the feeling I want to give them.
そうなんか友達のような家族のようなパートナーのような時々はそうなんていうのかなちょっと難しいけど一緒にいるといいパワーをもらえるみたいなものにしたい。
So maybe like friends or family or partners, maybe at some point there might be some difficulties, but basically like something that gives you sort of energy by being together. So that's the kind of feeling I want to give with my work.
そうなので触ったりしてすごく気持ちのいい形を目指してます。
So I aim at producing a form that's also very cozy, having good feeling in just touching or patting.
なんだろう good power かな get yeah so embroidery too yeah
That's wonderful. Yeah. Thank you so much.
oh thank you so much ありがとう
Thank you. Thanks again, Misato. Have a great rest of your evening.
ぜひニュークレウスギャラリーに見に来てください
Thanks again. All right. See ya.